Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. Match preview, Chelsea news, West Ham, little look back at the Spurs game in a bit more detail. Mauricio Pochettino coming out with some punchy quotes. He seems a little bit in the dark over his future. We're discussing Noni Madueke, Mark Correa, the switch in tactics over the last game and a half back to the system that we used in pre-season. We're going to be talking about the academy lads, Gallagher, Chalobah. Is it possible for us to think twice and not sell these guys in the summer? We've had some news about rumors about Hansi Flick, which we can dive into. I think I just repeated myself there. I can't remember. And yeah, lots and lots to get into as always, people. But Europe somehow is still on, guys. Europe is still possible. We're 3 points behind Man United in sixth. We're 2 points behind Newcastle. Man United and Newcastle have still got to play each other. I don't want to get too carried away with myself because I think we got carried away at too many points this season. But Europa League is still possible. A top six finish is still possible. We've probably got a decentish run of games. West Ham at home, Forest away, Brighton away, and then finish at home to Bournemouth. It's not. I mean, it's difficult. Look, they're not easy, but it's not impossible. And I think if we're going to finish in the top six, I suspect that Newcastle and Man United will drop points. So I'm thinking that we probably, to guarantee we come in the top six, I'm going to suggest we probably need 10 points. 10 points from the last 12 available would be my prediction. I think if we could do that, 3 wins and a draw from the last 4 games, then I think that would be enough to get in the top 6 and get in the Europa League, which, look, of course, it's not what we want to be. We want to be back in the Champions League, but at the same time, we have to be realistic and realize that the squad right now, the way that it's been put together, we're not good enough to be a top 4 team right now. That is as simple as that. Yes, if we'd had all our players fit for the majority of the season, I think we could have gone pretty close. But the reality is there's still some key parts missing in the squad, and we're not good enough to qualify for the Champions League. As I said, with the players fit, we could have given it a pretty good push. I don't think we would have been a million miles away. But the reality is that, look, Europa League's not where we want to be. But if we were to finish in the top 6, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup final and an FA Cup semi-final, yeah, it's not what we're used to. But that is progress and a step in the right direction. If that's how it were to finish, of course, we have got a lot of football still to play. It just makes the drop points against your Burnleys and your Sheffield Uniteds even more frustrating, because we shouldn't that shouldn't have happened, and we should have 4 more points. It's just so frustrating because the winning goal that was ruled out at Villa Park, then there could be a decent chance we could push for 5th, which would definitely alter people's opinions and narratives on the season. But then also we could have said that about the Burnley and Sheffield United points thrown away for further on. So yeah, it's frustration, inconsistencies, but the top 6 is very much still on the cards. Very much still on the cards. So last 4 games are massive. No denying that. No denying it whatsoever. So again, this nonsense that the owners don't want success, that the owners got a lot of stuff wrong. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But to say that, people have spent X billion on a football club as a business venture, and they don't want it to be successful, it's just nonsense. It really is. That just isn't the case. The quickest anyone wants to make money on a business investment, and the quickest way to make money in football is by winning. Simple as that. So to suggest that this ownership doesn't want to win, I think is massively wide of the mark. Yes, there are plenty of things to criticize them for. Yes, they've made plenty of mistakes. But yeah, to say that they don't want to be successful is wide of the mark, in my opinion. You don't get to where these guys have got in business by not wanting to be successful. You get to the top because of that drive and that determination to be successful. And these guys want to be successful. And look, they're ambitious, and they've made a lot of mistakes and probably gone about it in slightly the wrong way, to say the least. And the first 2 years of this ownership definitely haven't gone to plan. But you don't make it a business investment and not want it to be a success. That's the reality for me. Yeah, I know it would have done. That's the problem. Even beating Sheffield United and Burnley, that would have put us a point in front of them. It's just really frustrating, really frustrating to say the least. I would expect them to, yeah. But yeah, let's dive into the main thing then. Mauricio Pochettino has been discussing his Chelsea future. Obviously, had a little bit of it last night after the game, of course, because it's a quick turnaround. There is no press conference ahead of the game against West Ham on Sunday. They're just some quotes that have been come out, and Poch obviously has been discussing his future, and he's had some interesting things to say. I have 1 year left of my contract here, and if nobody says anything, then I suppose I'm going to be here. Only if someone says to me, ciao, because we don't know. I have 1 year left of my contract, and I'm going to be here, but enough is enough about these stupid rumours, because you need to ask the club if the club want me to keep going or not to writing that has no sense, So like, I get what he's saying. Like, ultimately, it's not down to him. You could say in a way it's down to him, in terms of, if you get the results on the pitch and become top six, you probably stay. But the reality is, it's up to the club. It's not his decision. It's not his decision. So I can understand from his point of view why he's frustrated about the constant rumors out there, the constant reports saying that XYZ managers come in, or it needs to get XYZ results between now and the end of the season to save his job and whatnot. I actually think, on the balance of things, yeah, there's still 4 games to go. And of course, whether we get Europe or not is going to have a big bearing on this. But I think, on the balance of things, everything considered, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to make a change this summer. It really doesn't. Not only in terms of a stability point of view, but also you look out there and I think, what options are there that are a genuine, serious upgrade on Pochettino? Because I'm done with Chelsea making sideways moves with managers. A De Zerbi is a sideways move. Other managers we've been linked with are sideways moves. Is Amorim an upgrade on Pochettino? Only time would tell. But I don't think so. Right, I don't think so right now. So unless you're going to go and get a top class manager, it doesn't make sense to change. I mean, the lie of the land at the end of next season could be totally different. I just think amongst Chelsea fans, there's a massive issue with patience, because I can guarantee, if he does go at the end of the season and the next person comes in and we do struggle, because we will, then these people are just going to be saying the exact same thing again. Oh, this manager's got to go. Eventually you've got to stop looking at the manager. And as Thiago Silva said, the players are out there on the pitch perform. Like, they've got to go and perform. Pochettino has not been good enough across the course of this season. There's no doubt about it. He's got a lot of things wrong. He's made a lot of mistakes, but the grass isn't always greener. Everyone wanted Graham Potter to go. And look, things over a year down the line have hardly improved. The grass is not always greener. And at some point, you have to back a manager through a difficult spell. Now, I'm not saying that he should 100% stay, but when you take things into consideration, I think I'm more towards him being given another season than away from that than ripping everything up and starting again. A fourth manager in 2 years. That's not a good way to go. So I think if we can continue to play for the rest of the season like we have for the last game and a half, the switch in tactics has been massive. Inverting Cucurella into midfield, going back to the system that we played in pre-season. It's a shame that it's taken him so long to get there, but genuinely, like he's shown a type. He's shown like he can adapt. He's shown that there is potential in him to do that. And, you can talk about the tactics and the system last night, and look, the tactics have made a difference over the last game and a half. But you could see how happy the gaffer was with how well we competed tonight, last night even, and how the belief. He was more happy, I think, with the way that the team competed, and how hard they worked, and rather than the tactics and the system. That's what we've been lacking. Yes, there's been there's been some tactical problems, but ultimately we haven't competed well enough over the course of the season. That's the reality. That is the reality. We haven't competed well enough over the course of the season. Look, no one's saying that just because of like a game and a half that he should suddenly stay. But this idea that we're going to be loads better with someone else next season is just a fantasy. To be perfectly honest, it really is. I think there's more chance of us being better next season, in my opinion, with another season of the same manager. I think we do better next season with Pochettino than if we switch and someone else comes in. I honestly think we would struggle next season. That for me is the reality of the situation in that point of view. But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I'm sure. Look, we know why the club haven't really made a decision yet. Because one, the plan has always been to sit down at the end of the season and discuss his future, and secondly, and then secondly, they're probably waiting to see whether we get any form of European football or not. So I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's not deluded. This constant idea that as soon as something doesn't go well, we've got to throw our toys out the pram and get another manager. That doesn't work anymore. That simply doesn't work. I'm not saying that he should 100% be staying, but what I'm saying is that there are pros to him staying another season. There really are, particularly with such a young group, particularly with losing Thiago Silva, a huge leadership figure. There's something to be said for continuity with a young, inexperienced group for another season. Am I saying that Poch is going to be a massive success at Chelsea? We don't know the answer to that. Has he had good moments this season? Yes, he has. Has he got a lot of things wrong? Yes, he has. So, people can scream and chuck their toys out the pram and cry about it, but ultimately, for me, in the best long-term interests of the club, and we're talking long-term here, is that for me it makes more sense to stick with him for another season. Again, if we finish in the top 6, then there's no doubt about it. He will get another season, and I think that's fair enough. But what we need to see going forwards is the football that we've seen for the last game and a half. That needs to continue. I'm not saying you're going to get it every game. You're absolutely not. But that needs to continue. Inverting Cucurella at left back, making an extra man in midfield, switching back to the system that we used in the pre-season that everyone got excited about, and then we suddenly abandoned it for reasons that I'm really unsure of. But if he sticks to that system and we keep playing some good stuff and we compete well and we finish the season well, for me, there's no obvious candidate out there. It's not like it's not like that. It really isn't. It's not like that at all. Again, this is just a ridiculous thing to be saying. This is not what Chelsea. Well, this is not the Chelsea of the past. This team is not good enough to finish in the top 4. It isn't. We could have had any manager this season with these circumstances, and we would not have finished in the top four. You know, if Tuchel had stayed, we wouldn't have finished top four. Even if we had Pep Guardiola, we wouldn't have finished top four. The squad is not good enough to finish in the top four right now. Next year, it could be with a bit more experience and some more players added. Absolutely. He could have won a trophy. Yeah, he could have done. And you know, and at the end of the day, we let ourselves down in the final with our finishing. We let ourselves down in the semi-final with the finishing as well. Pep wouldn't have done it. Pep, honestly, if people think Pep Guardiola would have got this team in the top four, then yeah, he's a fantastic manager. Of course he is. But like, he wouldn't have got this team in the top four in these same circumstances. He wouldn't have done. If people think the manager needs to go, that's fine. That's their opinion. No problem. But don't start crying again when someone else comes in and we haven't really improved and we lose matches and we go on difficult runs. You guys could just be part of that constant cycle. Oh, the manager's got to go. The manager's got to go. The manager's got to go. You know, other people in the club need to take responsibility for what's going on. This is not just all on the manager. This is on the ownership. This is on the sporting directors. This is on the players. This is on everyone. This is on everyone involved with the football club. Simple as that. The mess that we're in is a collective responsibility from every single person at Chelsea. No questions asked whatsoever. Look, there's a lot of issues at the club. The recruitment is been, I would say, been questionable, but the squad building has not been great. You only have to look at the right wingers we've got: Kendry Paez, Cole Palmer, Angelo, Madueke, Hutchinson, all right wings. Yes, Palmer could play as a 10. You know, it's some questionable squad playing while we're collecting so many players in the same position. That is something that I'm not too sure about. But you know what I felt most of this season, guys, is that we've been throughout the whole season, despite the inconsistencies, despite the poor results, or whatever, all season we've been pretty good at creating opportunities. The execution needs to improve, but if that execution does improve, then we infinitely become a better team. It's as simple as that. You can look back through a number of games this season, and the lack of quality in front of goal in terms of finishing has cost us a lot of points. We don't have an issue with creating chances, but our problem is we still struggle to put the ball away in the back of the net on a consistent enough basis. That's the problem that we've got. If we can rectify that, then it's going to be we will be definitely a lot better. There's no denying that. There's no escaping that. We'll definitely be a lot better. By the way, guys, 33 in the building, only 16 likes. Keep smashing that like button. Hit the thumbs up, guys. It's free. Takes seconds. Please do that. Let's try and get this as close to 50 likes as we possibly can. It would be greatly appreciated. I know it's Friday afternoon. Yeah, people have probably got better things to do, but big up to every single one of you that's locked in it. If you could all smash that like button, it would be brilliant. And please do subscribe to the channel as well if you are new round here. That would also be really appreciated. Really appreciated. So yeah, please do that, guys. So yeah, make sure you're doing it, guys. Well, yeah, in that sense it is. Yeah, for sure. In that sense it is. We can agree that Poch improved finishing after catastrophe. Yeah, I mean, the issues have reversed themselves. Last season we were pretty good defensively, but could barely score any goals. Now we're scoring a lot more goals, but we can't seem to keep them out at the other end. Yes, it was a clean sheet last night, which was, of course, much needed. But yeah, we've just reversed the issues at the end of the day. This summer's massive. We know what we need to do. And we've got to make sure that we get the right players in through the door in the positions that we need and with the quality that we need as well. We're desperate for some quality at the top end of the pitch. We have got some good players up there, but we need someone that puts the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. 9 times out of 10, one of those sort of penalty box strikers. That is the reality of the situation here. But yeah, look, Poch's future, he's unclear on it. He's been pretty punchy with his comments. I suppose from his point of view, and I think in general, if there's no news, then I guess good news from his point of view. But yeah, look, the club do need to make a decision. They're obviously going to sit down at the end of the season. They're waiting to see whether we come 6th, 7th, or miss out on Europe altogether. And yeah, we just gotta hope what we can do. We just gotta hope and see what is possible. And none of these players will come to Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, if we had a choice, I'd go Jadon Sancho because I think he's a ridiculous player. But ultimately, yeah, I think those are 3 options that, yeah, not going to happen. Smith Rowe's not it for me at all. I do like Jack Grealish, but if I was presented with the choice between Jadon Sancho and Grealish, I would obviously go with Sancho over Grealish. I think what it'll come down to is whether they think it's because we've underperformed or whether they think it's because of the circumstances we found ourselves in this season. That's the reality at the end of the day. If we were to miss out on Europe, would the ownership and the club as a whole look at it as the manager underperforming, or as the sole reason as to why we missed out, or would they be looking at it more from a point of view that under the exceptional circumstances we've been working under this season, that was more of a contributing factor than the manager? That's the way that they would have to look at it ultimately. I think we should sell our injury-prone players. To be honest, I don't think we've got injury-prone players. If you look at players that their previous clubs and their previous and their careers to date, if Chelsea is the only blemish on their careers injury-wise, then it's likely it's us, not them, that's the problem. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, Pochettino can go a long way to sorting his future out himself if he can secure a top 6 finish. That would go a long way to it. But yeah, let's move away from his future and let's move on to the future of some players. I mean, Conor Gallagher, superb last night again. Trevor Chalobah was brilliant as well. I mean, funny enough, Gallagher, who's done a brilliant season, Conor Gallagher, 7 assists in the Premier League, has more Premier League assists than Havertz, Alexis McAllister, Marcus Rashford, and Mohamed Kudus. And he's not even that type of player. He's not that type of player at all. But he's putting up some half decent numbers. And do you know what? The banner was great for him last night. He really appreciated it. And do you know what the most important thing is, right? In regards to homegrown players, and I'm not saying that every Cobham player is going to make it at Chelsea. They're not. But the ones that are good enough should absolutely be staying. Homegrown players who breathe Chelsea, who've dreamt of pulling on the shirt, and then when they do, they play for it. Those kind of guys cannot be sold. Gallagher, Chalobah, prime examples. And they're players that the fan base connects with. And look, if the board want young players, then we've already got 2 of them at the club, and they should be they should be playing. And it's as simple as that. Why would you be looking to get rid of a Conor Gallagher and a Trevor Chalobah when we'd more than likely sell them, bring in players that are half as good, for twice the price. That is exactly the sort of thing we do. You know full well that if Gallagher and Chalobah hadn't come through the ranks at Cobham, there would be no conversation whatsoever about Chelsea looking to sell them. You know, we cannot keep moving and operating in a way where we just sell off academy players because we're run like a shit show, and we've made mistakes in the transfer market, and so we make up for that by selling players that are more than good enough to be here, can absolutely play a role in the squad, and it's just ridiculous. It really is. You know, at the end of the day, it's down to between the player and the club to sort out. Gallagher's made his feelings clear. Poch has made his feelings clear. The supporters have made their feelings clear. And I just don't want us to go down the same road again, where if Gallagher leaves because he's been forced out, that people start turning on him, because that's not the case at all. If he ends up leaving, we know why he's left, because he would have been pushed out. It's awful. The way that we treat players at this football club is not good. It really isn't. There's a number of instances where we're not saying, you know, we're not putting the player, we're not putting the interest of the clubs of the club first. You know, Mount. I was advocate for Mount staying. You know, I wasn't out. Havertz was the fact that he'd been here for 3 years. He'd done fuck all. He hadn't been good enough, and we basically got our money back on him when he'd not been good enough for 3 years. You know, no one was disappointed with Havertz going. Mount, there was a divide on it. His form hadn't been good, but ultimately that situation should never have happened in the first place. He should have been offered a new contract after the Champions League. Simple as that. And look, Gallagher has more than warranted a new contract. You know, your performances dictate whether you deserve a new contract or not. He absolutely deserves a new contract. You know, there's not a single even if you don't like Conor Gallagher, there's not a single person who can genuinely tell me and say Gallagher doesn't deserve a new contract. It's just not the case. At the end of the day, all the club are thinking of, and this is a problem with this ownership, is they're not bothered about how profitable a player is on the pitch. All they're bothered about is how profitable they are off it. You know, and as Ian Martin's dad said, the club seem more interested in money than the actual best interests of the club itself, which is a problem. You know, Gallagher should be kept. Trevor Chalobah should be kept. Chalobah's been exceptional, absolutely exceptional for us since he's come back. And look, if there was a PSR punishment, we don't even know at this point. This is all hypothetical. But if we were to be hit with a 6-point deduction for next season in a hypothetical situation, if it meant that we kept Gallagher and Chalobah, but we had to take a 6-point hit, I would probably, yeah. I mean, to be fair, that probably is the case, and I would say that, yeah, you would definitely find some, but. Yeah, generally speaking, like there's very few, particularly amongst the match-going fans, there's very few that will say, "Oh, Gallagher doesn't deserve a new contract." That is as simple as that. He absolutely does. From where will we get? Well, because we've got Lukaku, 37 million, Martin, the 35 million pound release clause. That's almost 70 million pounds there. Broja are going to get a bit for. Kepa's going to go. There'll be a little bit there. Hakim Ziyech is going to go. There'll be a little bit there. You know, we can get that money. You know, we can get that money. Lewis Hall as well. 28 million pounds coming in. So 28 million for Hall, 35 for Martin, 37 for Lukaku. That's already 100 million pretty much. And there's also when you chuck Broja into the mix as well. So we have got enough players to sell to raise this supposed £100 million without needing to sell off the life and blood of the club, like Trevor Chalobah and like Conor Gallagher. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I just hope that if Gallagher does end up leaving, I hope that people don't fall for the sort of trick that he wanted out, like they did with others previously. It's just annoying because it just feels like Chelsea don't seem to know a good player when they have one. And if we let these guys go, do we actually trust the club that they're gonna go and bring in players that are better and are ready to be better straight away? Are they actually going to get the transfers right? I don't know. I personally wouldn't be trusting them to get this right. I absolutely wouldn't be. I'm not saying that Gallagher should be a starter next season. If Nkunku's fully fit, you've got options in number 10 there that are much better than Conor Gallagher. We know that. We absolutely know that. But I think Gallagher's shown, and I thought under Thomas Tuchel, I wasn't sure that he could play in the pivot. He's now proven that he can play in the pivot. He's been very good alongside Moises Caicedo in the last few games. He's shown he can be an option there. And so I don't have any issue with him staying as a squad player and being a rotation option in the pivot and maybe playing as part of a three-man midfield in perhaps maybe bigger games, particularly away from home, potentially. Is how I see it there. Look, I think Caicedo's performances have been better with Gallagher alongside him, but I don't think it's solely down to that. I think a lot of it's been down to the fact that Cucurella is inverted into midfield. He's acting as a sort of a defensive midfielder behind Caicedo. So there's that extra protection there. There's that, it's another option there to pass to and whatnot. And it has made a huge difference. It's made a huge difference. There's no getting away from that whatsoever. Absolutely no getting away from it. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good thing. I think we've done well. No, it's not about that. It doesn't have to be pure, like, profit doesn't mean like, we're not talking about that. Like, it's the 100 million. It just needs to be money raised. That's it at the end of the day. It's not about, but you're going to get more money for your homegrown players. That's just the reality of the situation. But we need to bring in £100 million. And so, Lukaku, Hall, Maatsen, Broja, that's four there. That would pretty much take you there if we can sell them. And one thing we have, it doesn't have, no. It is doable. It is absolutely doable. And it's doable without selling your Gallaghers and your Chalobahs. It is still doable. It absolutely is. But we are obviously going to have to wait and see what happens with that. But Conor Gallagher shouldn't be being sold. It's very simple. Like, why would you sell him to then bring someone in that's like 19 or 20, 21 or whatever, and it's going to take a few years to get up to speed? Why would you do that? Why would you do the same thing with Trevor Chalobah? Why did we sign Disasi last summer? I'm not shitting on Disasi, by the way. I'm just saying, why did we sign Disasi last summer? We've already had Chalobah. Do we really need him? You can make profit on Lukaku. The profit, the book value thing is a weird thing. I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about it because I absolutely don't. But yeah, you can make a profit on players even if you sell them for less than you buy. But I don't know how it exactly works, but you absolutely can. It's not a case, we signed Lukaku for 97 million. Therefore, if we sell him for 90, unless we sell him for 98 million, we're not making a profit. That's not true. You could probably sell Lukaku for 40 million as an example, and you might make a profit. I don't know exactly how it works, but that is the case. No, they didn't. But I mean, Chalobah could have played there. I mean, Chalobah's competent in a back three. He's competent in a back four. He's competent at right back. Like this, and the fact that with Chalobah specifically, like this is a guy that's under contract until 2028. He's 24 years of age. He can play, as I said, in a back four. He can play in a back three. He can play right back. He can play defensive midfield. And we're looking at like £25 million for him, maybe 30 at a push. That sort of player, and this is, I'm not just saying this, that is a 40, 50 million pound footballer in today's market with those attributes and that versatility and his age. And yet we're seemingly potentially going to sell him for 25 million or something like that. It's crazy. It really is. It really is. Yeah, Badiashile was good again last night. I mean, look, that's why I always, judge players on ability rather than performances to a degree. We've seen that Badiashile can do it. He had a long layoff last season into the start of this one. So, yeah, the potential's there. He's a very good centre-back. And look, is he part of Chelsea's first choice pairing in a back four when everyone's fit? Maybe he's not, but he's absolutely a very good option to have available to us. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, I think there's a clause in the Lukaku deal where he can go for 37 million. I think that they negotiated that before he went to Roma. I don't think the Sassi's bang average. My issue with it is that he's just not really that much better than Chalobah. So I don't really get it. With 50 plus goals this year, we're still thinking to not sell him. And I know we considered a lot of goals. That's not solely down to individuals. There's been a lot of individual mistakes the way we've been set up tactically, but ultimately, as we have got very good defenders, there's no denying that we do have very good defenders. But yeah, for whatever reason, as a collective, it's really not gone very well. Yeah, Chalobah didn't literally. I don't think Chalobah played until December or January. He was out pretty much the whole season. He's come back into the team, and since he's come back into the team, he's not put a foot wrong, and he's arguably been our best defender since he's returned to the side. Lukaku will have options. He's got options from Saudi. Will Roma take up the permanent option? Will he go somewhere else in Serie A? I don't really know, but there won't be a shortage of suitors for Lukaku. Gallagher playing away is at least 50, 60, given how he flew. Yeah, look, if it's down to me, the season that Gallagher's had, there's no way we should be selling. Well, we shouldn't be selling at all, but there's no way we should be selling for less than £50 million. That is a £50 million footballer in there. There's not a £20 million difference between Gallagher and Mason Mount at the point of sale. There absolutely isn't, in my view. £50 million for Conor Gallagher, given the season that he's had and the potential that he's got, that is not asking over the odds. No, I completely disagree with that. I don't know why people have got this idea that because Enzo's out the side, we're suddenly like they think he's the problem. He absolutely isn't the problem at all. I'd like to see him and Caicedo in there with Cucurella inverting. I think it will work well, but he's absolutely not the problem. Maybe we should bring back Santos. Look, I think Santos will come back at the end of the season and we'll decide what to do for it. But yeah, guys, there's so many comments coming in. I'll try and get through as many as I can. But look, let's move away from the Gallagher situation. We know, everyone knows that he should be staying. Ultimately, all we can do is wait until the club decide what to do. And Poch said after the game on Gallagher's future, I'm not involved. I don't know anything, but you can see he's in my starting 11. Gallagher's future is not my decision. It needs to be resolved between the club and Connor, and it does need to be resolved. And I don't know why. I don't know why there's been no conversations. I don't know why it's taking so long. And ultimately, if I was if I was Gallagher, if I'm being forced out the club, I'm on the contract until the end of next season, and I'm thinking, do you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna run my contract down, and you're either going to offer me a new deal, or I'm going to go wherever I want to go as a free agent at the end of next season. And I don't think anyone could hold that against him, or anyone could blame him for doing that. I'm not saying that he would do that, because I don't think he's that sort of person that he would, fuck the club over like that to a degree. But yeah, he'd be well within his rights to do that. And part of me thinks, do you know what? You should go and do that. No, look, I don't dislike Disasi. I think there's good qualities there. My thing is just like he's not massively better than Chalobah. That's the point that I'm making here. He's not markedly better than Chalobah. But look, you can't blame Enzo personally for the money he paid for him. He didn't decide to cost that much. Benfica put that release clause in the contract. Chelsea wanted the player, so they paid the money. It's got nothing to do with the player. That midfield next season with Cucurella or whoever it is inverting into there from fullback, that could be tasty. Could be tasty. It's an interesting one on Chile. I mean, we're going to talk about Cucurella now, because for the last game and a half, he's been absolutely superb. Absolutely superb, Marc Cucurella. That inverted role as a fullback going into midfield seems to suit his game perfectly. Maybe that's what Pep Guardiola was seeing in him. Maybe that's what Pep saw in him, because City wanted to sign him the summer that we signed him. Maybe Pep had seen the vision. Maybe Pep had seen the vision, and that was his plans in the first place. It's it's he's done very well. Maybe that's what Pep was seeing, as I said, and it suits Cucurella's game a lot better, because when you ask him to stay high and wide, it just doesn't suit his game at all. It really doesn't suit his game. It doesn't get the best out of him. By putting that extra man in midfield, it's good. He's stopped putting Cucurella out wide. He's, inverted him into the midfield, because we know that Cucurella's game is not bombing up and down the wing. He can't do that. And it's also helped our build-up play a lot. It's put someone next to Caicedo. It's helped with the counter-pressing. We've then got an extra man in the attacking line, and it puts Mudryk right out on the touchline where he operates at his best, and it utilises Cucurella much better. Ultimately, the gaffer should have realised this much sooner, but at least he finally has, because this gets the best out of Cucurella. It absolutely gets the best out of Cucurella. It gets the best out of Caicedo. I don't think after less than a season of playing together, we can say that it doesn't work. I just don't believe that. I don't think we can be saying that. Oh, it doesn't work. In my opinion, I just don't think we can be saying that. So next season's massive for it, but I think this is where Romeo Lavia is going to be so key. If he plays in the pivot, or he plays as part of a three-man midfield, playing as a natural number 6, then that's going to make a massive difference for the two guys in front. So I think, let's wait and see what it looks like next season. But yeah, Cucurella again has been brilliant. And look, I like Chile. I think he's done very well for Chelsea, but there's no denying that, he is not, and this is no slight on him. It's not his fault that he's picked up the injuries. He's not chosen to have a serious hamstring injury. He's not chosen to have an ACL injury. But the reality is these injuries do take their toll, and he's not been able to find the form that he had pre-ACL. He's not been able to find that form. If it's a fully fit Chilwell playing at the best of his abilities, it's a no-brainer that he stays at the club over Cucurella if one of them have to go. But I think right now, the way Cucurella's playing, the way that Chilwell's playing, and the injuries that he's constantly picking up, if it was for me, this is not a clear decision anymore. This is very much, in my opinion, right now, I'd be swaying more towards listening to offers for Chilwell than I would be to listening to offers for Cucurella at this point in time. Again, it depends. If you're talking a back three, then it's Chilwell all day long. But I think in a back four with Cucurella inverting, I'm not sure if Chilwell would perform that inverted fullback role as well as Cucurella would. I just don't know. I don't know if we'd see it. I just don't know if we'd see it. That's the big thing for me. Would we see it? Could Chile do that inverted role like Cucurella? It's a tough one. It is a difficult one. Ultimately, I don't really know the answer. Jackson would get better stats than Osman if he was playing in Napoli this season ahead of him. I mean, Jackson's done very well this season. I'm a big Nicholas Jackson fan. The attributes are there, the skill set's there. Outside the box, he's very, very good. He needs to improve. He absolutely must improve in the box, but he's now got, I'm not by no means comparing him to Didier Drogba, but he's now got more goals than Drogba managed in his first season in England. He's got 11 Premier League goals. That is not a bad return. Not a bad return. What's that? 2 goals behind Kai Havertz this season, who everyone's saying is reinvented himself, has got a new lease of life, is having an amazing season. Yet Jackson on 11 Premier League goals, 22 years of age, costs 30 million, first season in England, only his third season as a pro, as such, and he seems to be catching strays and getting criticism left, right, and centre. Yes, he's missed a lot of chances, but he's shown a hell of a lot. And I remember watching Jackson for the first few games of the season, thinking, I'm not sure what we've got here. He's improved massively now, and he's really important to this side. I even remember saying when he went to the AFCON, you'll see what we're missing when he's away, and you can absolutely see what's missing. You can absolutely see what's missing. It's a problem. He is a problem. He causes issues. So yeah, I'm a big fan of his. No, there's plans. Last day of the season, May 19th. There are plans for something special for Thiago Silva. I don't know what it is yet, but there absolutely are plans for him. Look, Chelsea have definitely got interest in the player. I mean, Fabrizio saying that I think Man United are perhaps leading the race potentially for him. But yeah, look, for me, I'm a massive. I really like Michael Elise, but at the same time, if we're to bring another wide player in, someone else needs to go because there simply isn't the space in the squad. There's not the space in the squad. So for Elise to come in, someone would have to leave. And I don't know who that someone would be because I don't think they're going to get rid of Madueke. I don't think Mudrik's going to go. Raheem Sterling is the obvious one to sell, but he doesn't want to go to Saudi. And I don't see anyone that's going to pay him. No one's going to pay him what we're paying him outside of Saudi. And unless he takes a massive pay cut, I'm not sure any top club in the Premier League would take him. I really don't. Big up to the Dearish Devil for the donation. Greatly appreciate it, brother. Hope you're well. I think that's a bit harsh. I personally don't agree with that. I thought when he came in straight away under Graham Potter, he was the standout in a poor side. He's had good moments this season. He has been playing with that hernia issue, he said himself, for 6 months. That's obviously affected his performances. I think next season's massive for Enzo. We can get the balance right in the midfield. Then I think we absolutely will see the best version of Enzo and see that version of Enzo that we saw at the World Cup. That's my thoughts on the situation, people. I think we'll see the best of Enzo like at the World Cup. So yeah, I mean, look again. That's an option as well. But we've already got a lot of wide players. So if you're going to convert Jackson to a winger, then again, someone needs to leave, and you would probably have to sign two strikers, and that simply isn't what we need. Yeah, I don't understand why Jackson, like sort of the conversation around Jackson and Hoyland couldn't be more different. Yet Jackson has had a miles better season than Rasmus Hoyland. Yet Hoyland barely gets criticised, and Jackson's coming for a lot of criticism. It doesn't make sense. If Jackson was doing what he's doing this season in a Man United shirt, people would be saying a lot more about him. Yeah, he's done really well, Nicholas Jackson. Again, I think what players do in their personal lives is entirely up to them. As long as you do the business on the pitch, I don't care what you do off the pitch. As long as you perform on the weekend, that's all that matters for me. Absolutely. Sterling has to go. No, absolutely not. No chance at all. Plus, I don't think Greenwood is gonna play for an English club. In my opinion. Who do you think will be the Conor? I've got absolutely no idea. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Who we'd be thinking of bringing in because I just don't know. I mean, look, I think if it was a choice, I think I'd probably rather have Rashford out of the two of them. I know Rashford's had a poor season, but I think Rashford has got more to offer than Sterling does. Yeah, more games is never a bad thing to have for this young squad. More games, more minutes, and more chance to improve experience. Oh, there was one thing I just wanted to quickly go over before getting into the West Ham game. Was these this Hansi Flick stuff that I forgot to mention earlier. Hansi Flick is interested in joining Chelsea, who are searching for a new manager. Flick had a phone call with Marina when Lampard got sacked and wants to join a team in England. It's a massive no from me. I don't think it moves the needle at all. Look, is Hansi Flick a bad manager? No, he's not. Did very well at Bayern Munich. Was shocking in the German national team job. It's just not right for me. Just isn't right for me. I don't see it as a good fit. I don't particularly see him working well with that squad. I don't think he's got what it takes to be a success in the Premier League. That's my opinion. No, a good coach, absolutely. I don't think he's got what it takes to be a success in the league. I really don't. I really don't. So let's wait and see on that. But again, I don't think Flick is not the sort of manager that this ownership. If you look at the managers these owners have appointed, like Hansi Flick is not a manager that these owners would appoint. It doesn't strike me as a long-term appointment. If that were to be the case, I couldn't. If Flick came in, which again, this is all hypothesizing here, but if Hansi Flick did come in, I could almost guarantee he wouldn't be there in 2 seasons' time. I could almost guarantee it. Like I just don't see him as a long-term solution. I really don't. Yeah, Flick wants to put him. Is going to be talking up himself. Getting his agent to put the word out there that his client's looking for a job and whatnot. But Chelsea don't need Flick. Flick needs Chelsea much more than the other way around. Much more than the other way around. So yeah, this for me would be an absolute no. An absolute no. An absolute no from me. And let's like obviously, if he were to come in, I'd support him like I support all managers that come into Chelsea. But ultimately, it's not the right move for me. Not the right move for me at all. And this is what I mean about the managerial market this summer. There's, in my opinion, realistically, there's no clear upgrades that are available. You know, any manager that would potentially come in this summer, I would look at as being sideways moves. That's the reality, people. I think these are sideways moves that we're looking at with certain managers and certain names that you hear. Sideways moves. And that's not what we're about. That has got to change. And what has also got to change is, guys, we've still got 50 in the building, only 43 likes. You lot need to run the likes up. You need to run the likes up, and you need to run the likes up sharpish. So smash that thumbs up button, guys. It's free. It takes seconds. Let's get it to 50. Let's move on up. And also, guys, make sure you keep hitting that subscribe button as well. Getting closer to 9,000. We're on 8,665 at the moment. If we could get another 5 subscribers, guys, that would be fantastic. Let's try and get this to 8,670 before the stream is out. Please smash that subscribe button and smash that thumbs up button as well, people. I think we all hope that. We all hope to win all our games remaining. But yeah, the Hansi Flick thing is an absolute no from me. Absolute no from me. But let's talk West Ham. Obviously, they did us over 3-1 right at the start of the season. That seems like an absolute lifetime ago right now. Seems like a lifetime ago. But yeah, a lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since then. And can we beat them? We absolutely can. Have they got good players? Yeah, they do. Jared Bowen's very good. Lucas Paqueta's very good. You know, Mohamed Kudus, who we were looking at, is a top player. They've got players that can cause problems. That midfield is good. Alvarez, Ward, Prowse, and whatnot. You know, there's some good players there. There are absolutely some good players there that can cause problems. This is not going to be some sort of a gimme match. You know, our home form has massively improved. The home form is actually good. You know, we've not lost against a traditional top 6 side at home this season. We've had 1 defeat at home since October, and that was against Wolves, and we lost 4-2. The home form has improved. So that's credit to Poch, that's credit to the players. You know, we are improving as a side at home, and Stamford Bridge is starting to feel like it used to feel. Starting to feel like it used to feel. But this is a big game. Another London derby. Another one. Back-to-back London derbies. Our 3rd London derby in just over a week. And it's a must-win game. A must-win game. Let's have a little look at the old Premier League table. Well, let's have a look at the fixtures. Who are Newcastle and United playing this weekend? So we've got Newcastle away at Burnley tomorrow. And we've got Crystal Palace away at Man United. If we're being brutally honest, I could see Man United dropping points away at Palace. I'd expect Newcastle to beat Burnley. But ultimately, there's no point thinking about what those guys are going to do. We've got to get the job done. Let me just bring the table up on screen and we can see the state of play with 4 games remaining. And what's crazy is that despite all our inconsistencies, we're still in with a shout. So look, 34 games played. We're 2 points behind Newcastle, 3 points behind Man United, and we're 2 points above West Ham. But we've obviously played a game more. So we look at that, and a win on Sunday, which is a big if, takes us to 54 points. That puts us level with United. We've got a better goal difference than them. Newcastle's goal difference is way better than ours. All we can do is keep winning, but that's all we can do is put the points on the board. We can't worry about what anyone else is doing, but that 6th place is still very much there for the taking, which when you think about all the trials and tribulations of the season, the fact that 5th place is still there, 6th place is still there, is a madness, an absolute madness. And do you know what's annoying as well, right? You look at that. I didn't realise we're 9 points behind Spurs. genuinely, you plus 4 points for Sheffield United and Burnley, which you should have had. That puts us on 55 points. You get an extra 2 points from the Villa game. That puts us on 57 points. That puts you 3 points behind Tottenham in fifth. Like, we realistically, guys, we should be having a run at fifth place right now. We absolutely should be having a run at fifth place. Spurs have got to play City and Liverpool. Yeah, they still do. They still do. I wouldn't rule Tottenham out from potentially not finishing fifth. Can I see United overhauling them? Maybe not. But look, ultimately, if we put 10 points on the board, which should take us to 61 points. I mean, Spurs are on 60. We'd have to put 12 points on them. We'd have to win all our games, which would take us to what? 12 points, 51, take us to 63. And we have to hope that Spurs only win one of their remaining games. It's still a big ask. It's still a massive ask. I'm not really sure if it's possible or not. But like Spurs potentially are there for the taking. Trevor and Connor, proper Chelsea, a joke if we sold them. Let's add some experience. No, I absolutely agree. What I've been saying, they absolutely shouldn't be. They shouldn't be looking to be sold. They absolutely shouldn't be. Great game yesterday, but just wondering, prediction for Ipswich Town. I think they go up. They need a point against Huddersfield this weekend. I think they go up. I want European football. I don't want another season playing once a week. No. We only have one defeat in the league in 11 games. Our form has been good. It's just a shame about those silly draws. Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, look, that one defeat must be the Arsenal defeat. I mean, yeah, we're 2 wins in our last 5, draw at Villa and whatnot. So yeah. Big up, yes, big up. Happy with the win. Yep. We take it. I hope we can finish 5th or 6th. Look, I think 5th's too much to ask now because we dropped too many points. But 6th place is 100% on. 100% on the 6th place. We're coming for the top 6. He's not gone. He absolutely isn't gone. I don't know what you're going on about. Yeah, Madison didn't have a great game yesterday at all. Absolutely, he did not. What else have we got going on? Yep, Alfie Gilchrist did very well as well. Very, very well. Yeah, look, there's no denying we've been good recently. We have been good recently. It's just been a case of frustrating draws. That's the problem, because +4 puts us on 55 points, a point ahead of Man United. Like, we've not been a worse team overall than Man United. Well, we have in terms of the table doesn't lie, but Man United are there. Man United are not a better team than us. Not a better team than us. Yeah, we absolutely have to do that. Let's wait and see. Maybe RJ's back for the Bournemouth game. Maybe he's back for the Brighton game. I don't think we'll see him against West Ham. Maybe we see him on the bench against Forest. I'm not sure. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I've been saying previously. Is like, I think with a fully fit squad or close to a fully fit squad, we would have absolutely made a run for the top 4 this season. I do believe that. Would we have come in the top 4? I'm not saying we would have done. But I think we would have absolutely been in with a shout. No two ways about it. We would have been in with a shout. Guys, 48 likes, 60 in the building. Keep smashing that like button, the thumbs up. Hit it, guys. It really helps me out. Let's take this to 50 likes and over. Come on, guys. Run it up. Just praying City win every single game. Yep, I absolutely agree on that. I mean, they won their last 5 in a row. If you guys don't like the video, Zuma, yeah, we don't want that. We absolutely don't want that. Gusto, I think he was targeting this game. Again, we're not going to know. I don't know is the honest answer. Hopefully, but even if he was available, he wouldn't be starting. He'd probably be on the bench. So yeah, even if some injured players come back, Colweller and Nkunku are a possibility for Sunday. I personally don't see it None of them will be starting. None of them will be starting. But yeah, West Ham can definitely cause us problems. They can absolutely cause us problems. We know this. We know this. They can 100% cause us problems, and you've got to be careful of the likes of Paqueta, the likes of Bowen, the likes of Mohamed Kudus, who is a very good player. So yeah. Let's see what we can do. But if we can just do the same again, then that's all we can ask. That's all we can ask. That's all we can ask, to keep putting in that level of performance. But yeah, let's get the team up on the screen. And personally, I don't really think there's not really that many conversations to be had about the starting lineup. Just like the starting lineup for Spurs, I personally don't see any changes being made. Anyone that's potentially going to be fit again will be eased in from the bench, and I honestly think it's going to be the same team. I think it's going to be the same team, in my opinion. I really do. I can't see how it would be any different. I mean, I really can't. I mean, anyone in the chat, if you think there's going to be anything different, then do let me know. But I just don't see how it can be. Petrovic in goal. Gilchrist continuing at right back. I mean, Gilchrist, I think, came off because he had some sort of an injury problem. Hopefully that's nothing too serious and more just precautionary, because for a young kid playing out of position, his first Premier League start at Stamford Bridge, up against one of the best players in the league in Son, and he pocketed him and contained him very, very well. So Gilchrist could absolutely be proud of his performance last night. Absolutely can be, and hopefully it was just more of a precaution, him coming off, because otherwise we would be in a problem. Left back Cucurella will continue inverting into midfield, forms a three at the back. It's great to see Cucurella playing so well. He's going to be coming in like that, forming the extra man there. So Cucurella and Gilchrist as the fullbacks, and then Badiashile and Chalobah both had really good games last night, and they will continue in the back line. Simple as that. Is the Sassy going to be back? I don't know, but actually, you kept a clean sheet with this partnership. Why change the back? Why change the back line that kept the clean sheet? Yeah, I think he had a good game as well. Obviously, others had better games, but Mudryk was by no means bad last night at all. By no means bad last night. So yeah, West Ham time get balls in Chelsea area. Oh, they probably will look to get balls into the area. But yeah, that's the back four, and then the midfield, outstanding last night. Absolutely brilliant. Moises Caicedo, by the way, what a player! What a player he is. He doesn't get the credit he deserves because of his price tag. He doesn't get the credit. He gets the recognition from within the Chelsea fan base, but he certainly doesn't get the recognition from the wider footballing community. Like, since the turn of the year, he's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's been so good. He's been so good this season. So let's hope that continues. But Moises Caicedo, I mean, the way that he breaks play up, winning the ball back. I mean, yeah, you can say these are all kind of basic things, but he just does them so well. He does them so well. He's just stupidly good. And yeah, just long may that continue. Long may that continue. Of course, there's pressure. It's a London derby, and we're still going for Europe, of course. And then the front line's going to be. So, by the way, Madueke was brilliant yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant going both ways as well. He's been good going forwards recently, but his work rate defensively has been questioned. Last night, brilliant going both ways. And Pochettino is really happy with him. You could see by his quotes on Madueke afterwards, and this is probably one of Madueke's best games in a Chelsea shirt. One of the best games in a Chelsea shirt. I thought he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. He's doing very well. Poch described him as unbelievable last night. He did a fantastic job with and without the ball. That is what we need for the future to build this spirit to be very competitive. Chalobah Madueke was brilliant last night, and he's got that in there. The ability's there. He's growing in confidence, and he carries a danger. He absolutely carries a danger. There's no surprise that we're seeing some good level of performance from Madueke, because not only confidence is everything. You get a run of games as a young player, that does you the world of good. Madueke, I think, started the last 6 games in a row for Chelsea now. And you can tell, knowing you're going to play makes a massive difference to your confidence, a massive difference. And Madueke is showing that, he's direct going forwards. He takes players on. He's got great one-on-one ability, great dribbling ability. And if you can add that defensive work rate to his game and that discipline, which we saw last night, if you can add that on a consistent basis, then yeah, fucking hell. There's a decent player in there. There's absolutely a decent player in there. There certainly is. And there's absolutely a lot to look forward to with him as well. Guys, we're certainly on 49 likes. One more person needs to hit that thumbs up button. Come on, people. 54 in the building. One more of you needs to smash that like button. So come on, guys. Keep doing it. Let's get it done. Again, yeah, next season I think I'm going to get Jason Cundy was on a madness last night. He was on an absolute madness. So yeah, fair play to him. But yeah, Cundy was on a mad one. Cundy was indeed on a mad one. But yeah, and then obviously Jackson will lead the line. But Madueke has really come on leaps and bounds now. And do you know what? I mean, we've said this all along. No one is talking about Raheem Sterling. No one's asked that Sterling's missing. No one cares, because in Chelsea's best 11, Raheem Sterling is not in it. Simple as that. He is not in Chelsea's best 11. That's the reality of the situation. Raheem Sterling almost feels like a bit of a forgotten man at Chelsea. No one's saying, "Oh, where's Sterling?" Or we can't wait to have Sterling back. Where's Sterling going to fit into this team? Sterling doesn't fit in this team. That's the reality. Madueke is better than Sterling. Palmer's better than Sterling. And Nkunku's better than Sterling. Mudryk is better than Sterling. There's no surprise that we've looked a lot more better. The attacks looks a lot more fluid and much better without Raheem Sterling in it. That's not a coincidence, people. That, by no stretch of the imagination, is a coincidence. It simply isn't. Sterling has not been good enough. The attack looks way better without him playing, and long may that continue. At the moment they are. At the moment they absolutely are. And obviously going forward for Chelsea, I think they will be. But if it's obviously career-wise, no, of course not. But if we're talking form right now, Mudryk and Madueke are better than Sterling. Simple as that. No one's saying, "Oh God, I can't wait to have Sterling back. Sterling needs to be back in this side." That's not happening, and there's a reason for that, because he's not that good, and he's not performed. That's the reality of the situation. But that team there, look, hopefully we might have Colwell and Nkunku back. Maybe Malo Gusto will be back. These guys might be on the bench, so there might be a few more senior options on the bench. There were no senior options on the bench against Tottenham last night. But that team performed really well. The task now is, can these guys pick themselves up Sunday and then go and compete in that same way again? Can they go and compete like we did last night? Can they do that? And that's the big question mark surrounding this team is, can these guys go and do that? And those are the questions that we don't know the answer to. And again, Nkunku and Colwell are a maybe for the bench on Sunday. The reality is I'd be looking at giving them 10, 15 minutes max, nothing more than that. Absolutely nothing more than that. But, let's wait and see on that front. But yeah, there's no point rushing them back for the sake of it. If they're ready for the bench, great, and they can have a few minutes if possible. But if they aren't, then yeah, I mean, starting 11 when all players fit is an interesting one, isn't it? I'd probably say Petrovic in goal, Gusto, Fofana, Colwell. I'd say Cucurella, Enzo and Caicedo, Palmer on the right, and Nkunku in the 10. Mudryk left and Jackson up top. That's with that for me is what I would go with. Mohamed Kudus, Bowen, Paqueta. Yeah, they got good players. Absolutely got good players. Look, I'm always nervous when Chelsea play because you don't know what level of, you don't know what Chelsea you're going to get. That's the thing, We've only won back-to-back games in the league twice this season. We haven't been anywhere near consistent enough, and every time we've done a couple of good performances now. You're almost sort of like just waiting for. You're almost just waiting for a bad result to arrive. You're almost waiting for that, but yeah. Hopefully not. But you do just feel like there's a bad result coming at some point. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about James. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I forgot about James. Yeah, no, James for me when fully fit, of course. No, there's been a couple of reports saying that Grealish has been one of the names that's been discussed internally, but there's been nothing further than that. I imagine a lot of players are discussed internally. But yeah, no, there's no serious links with Grealish. Just nothing more than internal conversations at this point in time. But that is the team that it's the same team, and it's up to them. It's up to them to go again. It's up to them to go again. But if we can reach anywhere near the levels that we've reached in the last couple of games, I think that we'll get a comfortable win against West Ham. I think we'll get a comfortable win. But yeah, let's wait and see what happens. I mean, guys, score predictions. Get some score predictions in the chat. What are you lot saying? Can we go back-to-back clean sheets? I think that's maybe asking a little bit too much, if I'm being brutally honest. But I think we win this game 2-1. I think it'll be closer than people think, but I think we'll get 2-1. We're going 3-1 Chelsea. We've got a 3-0 Chelsea. We could hit 50 points. Fantastic. We could hit 50 points. No, we're already past 50 points, aren't we? I think we're on 51 points. I'm pretty sure we're 51 points. We've already passed the 50-point mark. 3-0 Chelsea, 4-0 Chelsea. I mean, another 6-0 would be fantastic. I mean, I think it's going to be closer than what you guys think. I think we'll win. But yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-1 in my opinion. A narrow 2-1 victory. And hopefully we can keep pushing on and we can keep improving, because there is quality in this side. That we can perform. We've seen what this team can do. Now it's about realizing that potential. That's the key. It's about realizing that potential we've got, and it's about unleashing it on a consistent basis. That is the most important thing that we can do, is find that consistency and and compete well. That's the important thing. And we've really, what's most important, last 4 games, is we've got to push on and build a run in the last 4 games using the new system we've been using. As I said, my issues with the gaffer have been fundamentally tactical, but the fact that we might be seeing a better system is making me potentially reconsider. But this is a huge week ahead to get Europe. It's back-to-back London derbies. We need to be recording a win. Nothing less will do. Any dropped points between now and the end of the season, if we do, I think will be curtains for us in terms of Europe. So yeah, let's wait and see. We've got a Palmer free kick. I mean, Gallagher hat trick. I mean, it'd be nice if Gallagher. Yeah, Kudus might be fit. I don't know. I'm not across the West Ham team news, but I'm confident that Chelsea have got more than enough quality over the pitch to absolutely get the job done. Absolutely get the job done. And maybe we'll see Nkunku back, and maybe we'll see Levi Colwill back as a bit of a bonus. But yeah, the most important thing is we pick the 3 points up. We keep playing the way that we're doing. We stick with this new system that we've been using, and just onwards and upwards, because there are positive signs at Chelsea. It's just you don't want to get too carried away with them, because too many times this season we've had it where you think, oh, we're going to go and do something, and we've crashed back down to reality with a poor result. Again, Tosin Adrabayo, someone that Chelsea are looking at. Why would you look at that on a free transfer when you could just keep Trevor Chalobah? You know, Tosin's not better than Chalobah. I'd say they're around the same. Why would you do that when you've got someone just as good already on your books? It doesn't really make sense whatsoever. But yeah, guys, gonna round this one out here. Big up to everyone that has locked in. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you're smashing the like button on the way out. We're on 54 likes. Let's try and take this to 60 likes on the way out. So on your way out, guys, smash that like button. Please hit the subscribe button as well if you are new round here and haven't done so already. And yeah, guys, I will catch you on, unless there's any news tomorrow, which I'd say is unlikely, any major news. I will catch you guys Sunday with the match vlog dropping after the game, and then match reaction live in the evening as well to the West Ham game. So yeah, guys, smash the like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on Sunday. Up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.